about, even if you went to the private sector, even if you went in the private sector, you'll find a strategic plan. Right, for any organization, you'd find a strategic plan. So CESA, I looked at your legislation and I saw that you do a lot of things. Right, actually when I was reading it, I said, this sounds so exciting, I'd like to work here. There's so much that happens here. You'll actually learn so many things about it. And welcome. You're going to find me a job. Okay. I'll take you up on that offer. Right. So it's exciting. There's a lot of things that are happening here. Right? So you need to now think about this. Even if you're not the most important person, you give that strategic planning unit a nudge and you ask, when are we getting our strategic plan ready? We are working towards preparing our budgets. We need to have our priorities identified. We need to be able to communicate this to people. Right? You can do it.
هذا أنا وأنا ببحث بالموبايل على الموقع الإلكتروني. وجدت قرار مجلس المفوضين 18/4/2022. اوكي. مضمونه انه اعتماد عناصر الخطة الاستراتيجية للسلطة للأعوام 2022 لغاية 2024 بالشكل المبين أدناه، يعني يتضمن رؤية السلطة والرسالة، رسالة السلطة، والأهداف الوطنية، أربع أهداف وطنية اللي تساهم فيها السلطة من خلال مجموعة من الأهداف الاستراتيجية وقيم جوهرية. أوكي. ووثيقة الخطة الاستراتيجية موجودة ضمن القرار. توقيع رئيس مجلس المفوضين وجميع أعضاء مجلس المفوضين. ففي خطة استراتيجية.
Okay. Thank you for that. You share it with Wandasar. You give Wandasar because he is the chief link, right?
Okay.
So we've helped you, Wandasar. Now you're going to get it. Right, so let's move from there, but we understand that it is something that is important and that we want it, but you have the strategic plan. You can see that there's lots of people sitting in this room who've not seen the strategic plan, they've not read it. So we need to share it with everyone in this room and everyone in the department, because they cannot do their work without having an idea of what is in your strategic plan. All right, it's not a secret document. Okay, Ron?
I have a related question. For those of you who have actually seen the budget, could you raise your hand? Okay. That's interesting. Okay, not bad. Not everyone.
So what we're trying to tell you here is that as an employee of a CESA, you have to make it your duty, your responsibility to look at these documents and to read them at the beginning of each financial year. You're also supposed to participate of these documents. You have to give input. Alright, because you can't work without having made input and somebody expecting you to do something. So from now on, you yourself will ask, where is the strategic plan? Where is the budget document? Is it on the website? Where can I access it from? And if they don't want to, then you just go to the person and you say, please can you circulate, give me a copy. It's not a secret. Right? So it's like that. Now if we can go to the next slide, Mona. So we say the essence of a strategy, or the reason or the purpose of the strategy is to decide on what not to do. Because if you didn't have a strategy, you can do anything. Isn't that so? But when you have the strategy, it will tell you what you are supposed to do and not what you are not supposed to do. Next slide, please. So what is a strategy? We're talking about how an organization meets its needs and objectives, right? That's what we're saying. What are the needs of the organization? How will it meet its needs and objectives? And it helps you to establish your priorities. You remember we spoke about prioritizing yesterday. We said you may have such a long list, but you would have to select things that you're going to work on, and then you choose those things and choose those actions, and you create your plan based on all the activities that you can perform, and you allocate resources and you be proactive. So in this side we say, it's just like this. I'm going to ask you, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Is it true? Because you don't know where you're going, you're just following. Ask you where you're going, I'm just going with this road. I don't know. When I get there, I'll tell you. So if you don't have a strategic plan, it's basically working like that. It's not keeping focus on the outcomes. Right? It's not telling you what your line of sight is. It's not telling you where you're supposed to be going. So you need that strategic plan. Okay, so, yes, Iyad?
معلومة صغيرة إنه في عندنا إحنا قسم مديرية كاملة عندنا موضوع التخطيط اللي هو وحدة التطوير المؤسسي، بس اليوم يهدف شغل بالسلطة فما في ولا واحد فيهم إجا. عنده مشروع شغال. يعني المديرية أو القسم اللي شغلهم هذا في شيء مش موجودين لأنه عندهم شغل بالسلطة.
When is later? No, they should have been here today to listen to us.
امبارح كانوا موجودين أستاذ زين.
Okay, so
اليوم في مشروع اطلاق المشروع المتميز. عشان بس يمكن نرجع 12.
بس معلش انا في مداخله لو سمحت يا اخوان. هلا احنا طبعا مع تقديرنا الكبير يعني اكيد مع تقديرنا الكبير للمهام اللي هي الموكله بزملائنا في السلطه، ولكن يعني احنا مرتبين مع معالي الوزير في الفتره السابقه، وكان بناء على طلب معالي انه بتوقع من USAID في الموازنه العامه انه تساعده في الانتقال او تحقيق نقله نوعيه في اليه واعداد موازنه السلطه. فالخطه والموازنه كامله. واحنا بصراحه الموارد اللي حاولنا نوفرها على افضل ما يمكن تطلبت منا جهد وترتيب مسبق وكبير. فيعني قد يكون صعب نتقبل فكره انه ما يجوا المعنيين بالموضوع اللي هم مشغولين، يعني احنا برضه جايين نشتغل، يعني مع احترامنا الشديد عفوا للجميع يعني، بس بالنهايه احنا لما نرجع لعمان وحيسالونا جماعه USAID كله شو عملتوا بالسلطه؟ ما بنقدر نقول لهم المختصين ما كانوا موجودين بصراحه. فاحنا صراحه توقعنا اولى ناس يكونوا متواجدين في هذه الصاله اثنين، جماعه الاستراتيجيين والمعنيين بكل من يشتغل في موازنه السلطه. لانه الهدف احنا نستجيب لطلب معالي الوزير انه انا وثيقه الموازنه اللي عندي للسلطه يعني بحاجه لتطوير وتحسين، بدناش نحكي لشيء ثاني. فيعني موضوع انه الكل منشغل، احنا كلنا في شغل ترى، ما حدا هو عفوا جاي انه على العجله حتى نغير جو. وانا اعتذر يا اخوان عن المداخله هذه، بس صراحه يعني جوابي شوي كان يعني انه شوي هيك مستفز واجب.
استاذ هم كانوا امبارح موجودين واليوم بعد 12 يمكن وبس تعود في الاستراتيجيه الماليين موجودين، اعتقد التوزيعات موجود والماليين موجودين، بس هم خاطر لانه فينا موضوع مرتب من زمان وهي على اساس 12 بيجوا بقى كانوا قادرين بكره ان شاء الله بس اليوم لحد
هلا استاذ احنا الموجود عندنا رح نعمل، واذا ظهر لا سمح الله يعني المخرجات ما كانت حسب المتوقع، هذا الشيء بصراحه جدا. يعني حاولنا السيده الدكتوره ساندرا سوكلا اللي هي مديره عام الموازنه العامه في دوله جنوب افريقيا، وساهمت في تحقيق نقله نوعيه كبيره في الموازنه هناك، ولها خبره مع دائره الموازنه العامه الاردنيه من 10 سنوات، احنا نعرفها من زمان. جبناها خصيصا من هناك لهون حتى نقول لكم الخبره العالميه اجت في الاردن، ما عطوها بس اولاد البلد. فتخيل انت شو طلب منا جهد ووقت وموارد حتى نامن هذه الخبره هون. فالله يعطيكم العافيه، ونتمنى ان نكون بكره الصبح موجودين معنا.
الله يعطيك العافيه.
شكرا لك. الله يعطيك العافيه. شكرا.
Okay, so you understand our frustrations also. So we now, you know, if we don't have, again, you know, it's a matter of prioritizing. Even when we don't, when what we attend, when we have to attend something, we have to choose which one is more important for what we are doing. And sometimes if you just go in, and that is what I'm saying, we're not blaming anybody when we're not saying anything that, you know, is not right. And maybe we shouldn't dwell on this anymore, but we should just move on.
إذا تكرمت بس على موضوع التخطيط الاستراتيجي، أنا هلا حكيت مع مدير التخطيط الاستراتيجي بيقول مهلوني بس نص ساعة زمن بكون موجود وراح أحط كل النقاط على الحروف. يعني أنا بعتذر يعني لأنه مع معالي الرئيس في إطلاق جائزة الموظف المثالي للسلطة. خلال نص ساعة راح أكون موجود إن شاء الله.
Okay, all right. Quality, we will accept it for the moment, but you know what this also comes down to? It comes down to an issue of communicating with one another in the organization. Now, if there are many important things going on, people need to talk to one another. And if they communicated that there were so many things that were going on, we would have reorganized ourselves to come in next week or the week thereafter.
Yeah.
Right. So that is what I'm saying. It's a communication. We would have adjusted to suit your needs. All right. So and that is also saying to you that within the organization, you can see that there is a communication problem. There is no. And communication also involves sharing of the documents. Communication means telling one another. As Ron said, the left hand and the right hand don't know what each other is doing. They have to work in sync, right? So that is what we're talking about. So if we go now to what is a strategic plan, now we are now slide 23. Is it the right slide? Yeah. So what is a strategic plan? It is a document that says why an organization exists, right? What is its aim? What does it aim to do, and how will it do it? That gives an idea to other people, to the stakeholders. It also internal stakeholders, the people who are working in the organization, as well as the external stakeholders. As an employee, you don't just stay confined to what is happening in your work. You have to be able to see what is happening throughout the organization, right? And you have to have an idea, because sometimes what somebody else is doing in the organization also impacts on your work, right? So even within the organization, you have to build up your partnerships. It helps to focus on the organization's visions and priorities. Right, and it is over a period. The strategic plan is for a period. What it does not do, it does not replace leadership. It's a document, isn't that so? It does not replace leadership and judgment. You can move to the next slide, Mona. It does not predict the future. It's not going to tell you what's going to happen. It's a document, all right? And it does not follow a smooth and straightforward process. It's a document. So what we say, it's a living document. It is something that you will have to change and adjust. Now, the example was when we had Corona. The Corona just came. Isn't that so? We had a strategic plan in place, but we couldn't implement what was in that plan. So we had to change it and we had to adjust it. We couldn't say this was our strategic plan and we're going to go with what it is, no matter what. You yourself experienced that. Then you had to say, we're going to have to slow down on certain activities, or we would have to stop certain activities, and we would have to increase certain activities. Now, I don't know how much Corona affected you, but I mean, in some places there was, in my country, for example, we didn't receive lots of things that came via the port, for example. Right? Lots of things, basic things, like certain food stuff you couldn't find. There were certain medicines you couldn't get. There were certain things that you just didn't get for an extended period sometimes. Sometimes it was a short period. So in the same way, the plans had to change, the plans had to be adjusted, the targets had to be changed. So that is why we say it's a living document. So you may have tables